So it is my pleasure to invite Professor Mrs. Ologunde to come and give her lecture.
Good morning, all. I want to say good morning to all of us, the Diocesan Bishop, Right Reverend Olubunmi Akinlade, who is also the principal of the school. I will call him VC in our midst today. I appreciate the honor given to me to deliver this lecture before the men of God this morning. The Dean of the Cathedral, Very Reverend Thomas Oshuniyi, the Principal, Venerable Olusola, the Vice Principal, Venerable Olusola, all the clergy in the house, gentlemen, as introduced by my Lord Bishop, I'm a member of the Anglican Communion also. I have my colleagues from the campus in the house. I greet everybody, good morning. God bless us as we gather to learn at the Lord's feet, because I'm sure the Lord is here and He has been with you since Monday. And now that I'm here, I'm a partaker of the blessings of this year's Clergy School. Thank you. I said I'm a member of the Anglican Church. I was once at Ayetoro before we moved to Eleyele, St. Matthew's. But now we are at Oshogbo, and I attend Canon Akinlade Memorial Anglican Church. I'm sure my Lord Bishop did not know this. So I'm here this morning to deliver, to give some talk on human resource management and financial management. Apart from the things that the first thing that the Lord said we should seek, which is the kingdom of God, that all other things shall be added unto us, I want to let us know that another thing we must seek, as Proverbs 18:15 says, is knowledge. Because the Bible says, the heart of the prudent acquires knowledge, and the hair of the wise seeks knowledge. So also, Proverbs 15:14 says, the heart of him who has understanding seeks knowledge, but the heart of the fool will feed on foolishness. So I want to let us know that as we are here and we are seeking knowledge in all its ramification, we are wise, and as we seek the Lord and knowledge, the Lord will add more unto us in the name of Jesus. So going to where I'm told to talk about human resource. We know that there are many inputs when we're talking about production. To produce anything, you have inputs. We have land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. We have men, material, and money. All these things, no matter how good your management expertise are, no matter the amount of resources you have, if you cannot manage people well, it's not likely you do well. Even as men of God, in our churches, we know that we have various types of people. The Yorubas will say, Ori tutu, Atori gbigbe. All are under our care to manage. So if you don't know how to manage people, then to succeed it will be very difficult. Because out of all these inputs and resources we are talking about, human beings are the most difficult. Human beings are, we are unique. You cannot predict people. We are not machines that you can say, sit there, I'm coming, and you meet the person where you put him. No. But human beings are unpredictable. Human beings cannot be, you cannot say what can happen. This is why the way you will treat A and it will be okay, you cannot treat B like that. So you have to understand people the way they are before you can manage them. And if you cannot manage people, as men of God, talking about business, although churches are non-for-profit, but, you need the expertise of management before you can even manage in the churches. Every organization, whether large or small, whether church, whether for profit or not for profit, to make your capital work for you, to be successful in anything you are doing, you must be able to manage people properly. For example, in businesses, you need to keep in in churches, the tithes, the offerings, the thanksgiving that we are talking about has to be managed properly. And if you don't know how to manage people, you're not likely going to be able to get anything from your members. The way you will only, the Yoruba says, Oro lo yo bilapo, Oro no lo ma yo idalapo. The way you will manage people to get the best from them, you have to know it. No matter the industry you are in, you must have people and you must be able to manage them properly. For them to put in their best, for you to get the best from them. And that is why we say human resource or people working in an organization, they're the most resource. They're the most important of your resources. It is essential, therefore, that human resources are utilized effectively as possible. So we said, because human beings, they're the most important of all the resources in an organization, that is why I like my area, human resource management. You have to be able to manage people, no matter your field of endeavor. I have my doctor here. He didn't know me before, but the way he relates, you will think he's my brother. I have my colleagues here, but the way we relate, you will think we have known each other. Maybe we were born together in the same compound. It is because you know that to manage people, you have to be efficient in anything you do. You have to be able to manage people properly. To be able to maximize your employees' performance, you have to be able to manage them. And that is why we say, what is human resource management actually? It is the strategic and coherent approach to the efficient and effective management of people in an organization. Efficient and effective management of people. Efficient in the sense that when you manage people efficiently, you will be able to realize more than you have invested in them, money-wise. You won't be losing from the salary you are paying them, from the bonuses you are offering them. You will not be at a loss. You'll be able to, you'll be efficient in your organization if you manage people well. Effectiveness is talking about being able to achieve the goals and objectives of your organization. If you manage people well, they will assist you because no man is an island. You cannot do everything all by yourself alone. you need people to be able to achieve the goal and objective of the organization. Just like the Lord Bishop said, as a clergyman, you need the people in your church. Even the other workers in the vineyard, you need to be able to manage them properly, to be able to get the best out of them. There are some gifted people in the church. Those who are not even, they don't have the calling, but they can be useful. So if you know how to manage people well, you'll be able to relate with these people and get the best out of them. So we are saying that human resource management, therefore, is you being able to effectively and efficiently manage people in the organization. People, and by people we mean everybody, all human beings around you. Whether your co-worker, your cleaners, your suppliers, anybody, everybody that has a dealing with you in the organization is what we refer to as people. So those, you have to be able to employ the resources of all those people to get the best for your organization. Human resource management is designed to maximize employee performance in the service of an employer's strategic objective. That is being effective. In the past, human resource management was limited to processing payroll, sending birthday gifts. We call it personnel management then. You just manage the personnel. They arrange company outings. They make sure that people fill their forms, their upper forms correctly. But nowadays, it is no longer the case. People are now viewed as important resource of the organization that can assist in achieving the goals and objectives of the organization. And that is why everybody is even being brought here, because you are appreciated. They know that if you are appreciated, you are treated like human beings, you are trained, once a year, people are brought together to enjoy themselves physically, spiritually, it will bring out the best in your performance. So the responsibility of human resource manager fall into 3 areas: staffing, employee compensation and benefits, then designing the work. As a human resource manager, you are responsible for staffing. So we'll be looking at their responsibilities as we go along. So essentially, the purpose of human resource management is to maximize the productivity of organizations by optimizing the effectiveness of its employees. As a good human resource manager, your main aim is to maximize your productivity by optimizing people's performance in the organization. So, I said the responsibilities, we shall now be looking at them one by one. Experts have agreed that the 7 main roles are the one in this outside the big circle: staffing, making policies, compensation and benefits, retention, training and development, laws, and protecting the workers. That's all these roles. They are internal. They are the things that a human resource manager should do, but that you should consider the external factors in the organization as what you should consider also. As you cannot just be looking inward, because no organization is an island. So we look at the internal role first. The first one is staffing. And it's one of the major tasks in human resource management. We said you need people to get the work done. You cannot do everything alone. The Lord Bishop cannot do everything alone in the diocese. It needs you. You also, you need some other people around you. So, because you need people around you, and we said even the most important and the most sophisticated machine still need human beings to operate them. Not to talk about in our churches that it is human beings that are even our resources. So that what we are now saying is that staffing involves the entire hiring process. Even hiring of the cleaners, whoever, it's going to be a process. Because you are going to be negotiating the salary package. And when we are talking about staffing, there are four main steps under staffing. And they are listed as shown. The first one is you need to develop a staffing plan. Anybody that fails to plan is planning to fail. That's why planning is the first step in everything, not just in staffing, but in everything that we lay our hands upon. And when we're talking about developing a staffing plan, you have to know how many people you need based on the revenue at your disposal, because wants are unlimited, but resources to satisfy the needs, even needs are unlimited. Wants are insatiable. Needs are unlimited, but the resources are limited. So you check your pocket while planning. How many people, how many cleaners can we employ? How many of this set of people can we manage, can we afford? Otherwise, you bring them in and you'll not be able to pay them. It means you have not planned well. So after developing the plan, then you develop policies to encourage multiculturalism at work. Don't forget the federal character policy of the Nigerian government, because you have to employ, our people are from various backgrounds. You can't be employing and not be basing it on merit. Base your employment on merit while planning. Don't say it is a Yoruba man that I want in this office. No. Employ on merit. Let your employment policy encourage multiculturalism. And after that, then you recruit. Then recruitment. That is finding people to fill that open position that you have identified that you need to fill. You ensure that you don't put a square peg in a round hole, because that is where effectiveness will come in. When you employ somebody that is not fit for that position or cannot perform what you want the person to perform, then there will be a problem. And the last step is selection. You now select, you interview, you select, you design the compensation package, you negotiate, and after that, training will follow. Then you find a way of retaining and motivating your staff. The second set of role is developing the workplace laid down policies and procedures. The laid down policies and procedures. You have to ensure fairness and continuity within the organization. This policy thing is usually done by management and the executives of the organization, because they're the ones that will write the regulations, the procedures, what should be done, and how things should be done. They are the one that will recognize the need for the policy. They are the one that will they will know when the policy needs to be changed. They are the one that will write the policy, and they will communicate the policy to all employees. When you know what you're supposed to do, then you will not, and you follow the procedures, then there will be no problem. But if management does not tell you what they want and how they want it done, if you now go ahead and do whatever you feel is the correct thing, then you are not to be blamed. That is why management and the executives have to ensure that these policies and regulations and procedures are clearly spelled out, understood, well communicated, And when you don't tell people what they're supposed to do, you cannot come and be blaming them for not doing it. That is why it is the work of the human resource manager to ensure that they develop a proper workplace, laid down policies and procedures, and that everything they do needs to involve all the departments in the organization. You will discover that everything we are talking about, human resource management, is not only the work of the human resource manager, but every manager. As long as you have more than 2, 3, 4 people under you, not to talk about the whole church, then you know that you must be a good manager of people. You don't have to be a human resource manager before you can manage people, if you know the things you're supposed to do. Let your rules and regulations be properly and clearly spelled out. That is what this point is saying. So some example of workplace policies might include disciplinary process. Once you know that if you do this, this is a punishment. When you do it and you are punished, you will not blame anybody. So the disciplinary procedures has to be clearly spelled out. Vacation time policy has to be known. You cannot just be asking for time off every time and leaving the church to just anybody anyhow. There must be the dress code must be properly understood, the ethics policy, even the internet usage policy, everything, anything must be under regulation, rules and regulation, and people must know it. Our Lord Bishop was talking about communication the other time. These laid down procedures, policies, and procedures must be clearly spelled out, well understood, with no ambiguity, so that everybody will understand. So the third role of the human resource manager that you are is compensation and benefits administration. Compensation and benefits administration. You must ensure that the compensation that you have agreed upon is fair, and it must meet the industry standard. It must be fair and it must be seen to be equitable, compared to others in other dioceses. it must be high enough to entice people to stay in the organization. If you don't remunerate the people under you well, then your turnover rate will be very high. People will just be leaving, you just be employing, people will be leaving, another set of people will come, they will spend very few years and go again. That is why it is the work of the human resource manager to ensure that compensation and benefits are properly administered. Compensation is what employee receives for his or her work, what you pay people, and it must be comparable to what other people performing similar jobs are being paid. Similar people with same years of experience, same education, similar people must receive similar compensation. And compensation and benefits include pay, health benefits, retirement plans, stock purchase plans. That is in organizations that have shares. You can encourage you can give shares to your employees. When you make profits, encourage them to have shares. Then vacation time is part of benefits, bonuses, then tuition reimbursement. People go to school and you reimburse their tuition. That's a benefit that human resource managers use to entice and keep their employees. That takes us to retention. It is the role of the human resource manager to ensure that they retain their employees, especially the good ones. The ones that are not good, it is even the human resource manager that will ensure that those people find their way out. But the ones that are good, you ensure that you keep and motivate them to stay on in the organization. There are a lot of reasons why people leave an organization. And the most important of them, I think, is pay. When the pay is not commensurate with what they are doing, then people may leave the organizations. Other issues are issues around job that they perform. If they are not happy with the job that they are performing, maybe their needs are different from what the organization can offer. Maybe the salary becomes too small for the person. He may decide to leave for greener pasture. So, as a human resource person, if you don't want your employees to be leaving frequently, then look into your pay and the job that they are performing. Ensure that they are not overworked. Ensure that you don't give the work of 2-3 people to only one person without adequate compensation. Another reason why people may leave their job is challenges with the manager. When the supervisors are too strict, too stringent, always breathing down the neck of your employees, you are not giving them free hand. They are not allowed to use their initiatives. People will not stay long. So these are the things you must ensure that you guard against as a human resource manager. Another one is poor fit with the organizational culture. Poor fit. The person is not fit. He is not comfortable with the way things are done around the place. It means the culture is about the way we do things around here. So if the person is not particularly happy about the way things are done there, they may leave. And the last one is poor workplace environment. To keep the employees, we must ensure that the workplace environment is tidy, is safe, is good, you know. So if you want your employees, so of all these reasons that we are talking about, bread and butter issues is the most important. If you want to keep your employees, continually change their compensation packages. If you want to keep them from leaving. And then when compensation is not the reason, then look into the other reasons why people may want to leave, and you may not be able to retain them. So another role is training and development. It is the duty of the human resource manager to train and develop their employees. You need to train people well before they can do the job well. If you want good performance, then train people. Let them acquire more skills. If you want higher productivity, training is a key component that you must look into. If you want to motivate employees, apart from compensation, training, I think, is the next one to motivate your employees, to make them happier on the job. You need to continue to train them, training and retraining. And that is what I think the school is all about, to train employees, to train you to be able to put in your best, give your best, because you cannot give what you don't have. So if you continue to acquire more knowledge, like we said in the introduction, that seek the kingdom of God, seek knowledge, seek understanding, acquire more skills, then you'll be happier and your results will increase and retention will be ensured. So an example of training programs might include the following: job skills training, such as how to run a particular computer program, training on communication, team building activities, policy and legal training, such as sexual harassment training and ethics training. Those are examples of training programs. That takes us to another role, which is dealing with laws affecting employment. As a human resource manager, you must be aware of all the laws that affect the workplace. The legal, apart from the rules and regulations now, the legal aspects of your establishment, you must know it. Discrimination laws, like when people are applying for a job, you must, even when a blind person comes, you must not discriminate if the person is qualified. It's a law in Nigeria that you cannot discriminate against the people, physically challenged people. Then, healthcare requirements. You cannot say because somebody is HIV positive, then you will not employ such person. The law says we must not discriminate against such healthcare challenges. Then compensation requirements, such as the minimum wage. You cannot pay less than the minimum wage. All these laws, worker safety laws, safety and security of the workers at the workplace. All these laws must be adhered strictly to. Then labor laws. There are some things that you cannot do, even if the organization doesn't have a union. There's a bigger body, the labor union. It can fight for people in organizations if the employer is going against the law. Then another one is another role is worker protection. Worker protection. As a human resource manager, you must protect your workers against all hazards. All hazards. Chemical hazards, heating and ventilation requirements, use of no fragrance zone, no smoking area, protection of private employee information, All these, your workers must be protected. And we said other role. Based on these major roles, good communication skills and excellent management skill are key to successful human resource management, as well as general management. So we said all these roles, apart from all these roles, you need good communication skill, you need excellent management skill. Excellent in the sense that you must treat people as human beings, as human beings. Respect people, communicate properly, let them know that anything that they need to know, let them know. Even while planning, involve your employees, because you cannot decide everything together, and at the end of the day, they cannot be telling you they don't know what you are saying. You have arrived at all these things together. So involve them. Involve people. Let them participate in decision making, so that you'll be able to get the best out of them. Give people free hand. Let people use their initiative. And when then you quickly call their attention, to what you think should be corrected. Not ordering people around as if people are slaves. That's why some men of God are not popular, because they don't know how to, carry people along. Some people are dosing. I will ask you to stand up now. Hello? So, most professionals agree that there are these seven main tasks need to be considered, but in relation to external and outside forces. All these things we are talking about have to be considered in relation to you have to be aware of the environment that you are in. Because this environment, you don't have control over the environment. The external forces we are talking about are things that you cannot control. They are not like the worker protection, training and development, dealing with employment things. We are talking about things that are outside of your control. Those are the things we say they are the external outside forces. That as you are looking inside, you must be looking outside too. And what are these things that you don't have control over? They may include globalization, offshoring. The world is becoming a global village where you cannot before you say ABC is on the internet, you cannot control what happens in the outside world, and they affect what goes on inside. So you have to be aware of all these external forces. There could be changes in the employment law, which you have to react to. You know, whether you like it or not, there are healthcare costs that is increasing. That is an outside force that you have no control over, but you have to adjust. There are various expectations of the employees, you know. All these things, you have to take cognizance of them. Then the workplace is now diverse. There's diversity in the workplace. I have Chinese all over the place. You have even internally, you have Hausas, you have Igbos, you have Yorubas. So all these things changes the work setting. Like, it's not everybody that understands your language, so you must be able to communicate properly because the workplace is now diverse. Then the demographics of the workplace keeps changing. In the past, it is our old men, grandpas that are in the churches. Now, we have new blood entirely. So the demographics is changing. So a good human resource manager, we know that the way you treat those elderly people will be quite different from the way you treat the upcoming new generation. Then the workplace is becoming more educated. In the past, our fathers, they didn't go to school, and they were doing the work fervently. But now, we have doctors, you know, highly educated people in our midst. So also, you must be able to have this at the back of your mind. Then there are layoffs, downsizing. Look at the pandemic era, when organizations are losing their, markets. They're laying people off, All these are the external things that will affect a human resource manager, and it will affect the way you do things in your organization. Technology, the use of technology is now very important and rampant. And as a human resource manager, you may want your own database. There's increased use of social networking to distribute information to employees. So all these external forces, you have to be aware of the outside issues. You need to develop policies that will meet not only the needs of the company, not only the pay or penalty, but now we're saying that you need to offer healthcare insurance to your employees, because healthcare insurance will be mandatory. Cost concerns has to be considered, and recruitment strategy are big external challenges now. So that any manager operating without considering these outside forces will likely alienate the employees, resulting in no motivation. The workers may be unhappy. And therefore, to be able to understand the external forces, you have no understanding of the external forces can also mean breaking the law. If you don't understand the external forces we are talking about, you may be breaking the law. And, if anybody breaks the law, it is not the clergy that should be breaking the law. So an understanding of key external factors is also important for HR professionals, for managers generally, because this will allow him or her to be able to make strategic decisions strategic decision based on changes in the external environment. And to be able to do this, that is the reason, one of the reasons for this training, to be aware of all the forces, whether internal or external, so that you'll be able to make strategic decisions as a people manager. And God will help you. Look at all those external forces: social, legal, technological, and economic. All these affect the decision of the human resource manager. So we said of all the inputs, we have men, material, money. We said managing people, managing men is the most important. Next to managing people is managing money. Do you agree with me? Owó ni kókó. That is why we want to talk about financial resource management. Whether you are a business owner, whether you are a for-profit or not for-profit, you must be able to understand financial management, because it is the key for you to be able to make informed decisions on how to manage money. Even personal money, not to take about church money, organizational money. Everybody must be able to manage money. In economics, we say resources are scarce, but wants, needs are unlimited. So what do you do? How can you now, you want so many things, even you need, needs are different from wants. Even the ones you need, you may not be able to get everything at the same time, because the moment to satisfy one want, another one crops up. When you were trekking, you were begging God, Oluwa, even if it is just bicycle, just provide for me, Lord. The Lord provides bicycle. And I say, this bicycle is so difficult to pedal. If you can just give me a motorcycle, I will be grateful. The motorcycle comes. I say, this sun is too much. If it is even 2 doors, Lord, provide for me. The Lord gave you a bit too. You're not saying, Oluwa, you're in better. You begin to complain again, because human beings are insatiable. And our resources, our financial resources are not enough to meet all our needs. That is why we need to be able to manage our resources well. And that is why our economists, we economize. When we allow, it is not our fault. It's because resources are scarce. You have to economize the little that you have. Abi, you need to economize it. You need to manage it and, ensure that you do the things that are important first. You prioritize your needs. So what is financial management? It means planning, organizing, directing and controlling the financial activities of your organization. It is the procurement, utilization of funds of the enterprise. The procurement and the utilization. This thing that we're saying is very scarce. how do you get it? How do you procure it? How do you utilize it? That is the work of the financial manager. And any good human manager must be a good financial manager. Anybody leading an organization, you have your various churches, you must be able to manage the finances of your various churches properly. So financial management means applying the general principles of management to financial resources of an enterprise. You use you use management principles of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. You now use it to manage the finances of the church. So financial management also involves planning, organizing, directing, and controlling financial resources. So it means you use all these management principles to achieve the organizational goal. You apply the general management principles to financial resources. You plan, you organize, you direct, you control the organization's monetary resources to achieve your goals and objectives. It is the appropriate use of an organization's financial resources, such as making investment decisions, employing cash management strategies to maximize profit and reduce risk. You want to maximize your profit, and at the same time, you want to reduce risk. You don't want to put the meager finances into risky ventures. Financial management is one of the most important aspects of an organization. To run a successful outfit, you need excellent knowledge of financial management. You need an excellent knowledge of financial management. And how does financial management work? How does it work? There are major areas that will make financial management work. The first thing is planning, financial planning. Just like we said, you need to plan. We said these resources are scarce. So you need to plan. You set goals. What do we want to do? This little money that we have, how do we use it? You set financial goals. You forecast future cash flows, and you determine how to achieve the goal. How is this thing that we want to do? Where are we going to get the money, the inflow? And when it is flowing in, how do you use what is coming in to achieve your goal in the organization, in your churches? Then after planning, then you do your budgeting. Then you allocate resources to achieve your goal. You make your goal, you plan what you want to do, then you create financial plan and allocate that money to the different usage, to the areas you want to put the money. Then you make decisions about what you are going to do with the money. Are you going to invest it? What are you going to invest it on? If it's not going to be investment, what are the church needs that you want the money? Where do you want the money to go? All this has to be done. Otherwise, because it happens, when you have money that you don't have planned for, you would have finished spending the money before you remember, we should have done this. And that is not good financial management. Before the money starts coming in, you must have your goal. You must have what you want to use the money to do. And when you have your goal, when the money comes, it will be going directly, because your goal, you would have drawn your goal based on your goals and objective of the organization. So that as the money comes in, you'll be using the money to achieve the goal and objective of your organization. Cash management. Forget about the capital structure management, because it involves decision about the optimal mix of debt and equity financing. To fund the organization's operations and growth. Cash management. Effective cash management involves managing liquidity and making decisions about how to invest surplus cash. Do we have surplus cash in the churches? There are some times that we can have surplus cash. Once in a while, maybe when somebody comes in to do burial ceremony, they can give something you don't expect. But the problem is, even before they give, the needs are already laid down. The needs are already laid down. So no matter how much the money, it has the area that it's going. It is God that will supply all our needs in the churches. Because it's not easy. It is in the olden days that people bring things to the pastorage. Now, people want the pastor, the reverend, to give them. They bring all forms of demands. God will change things for the better. So let's look at the various forms or types of financial management. We have corporate financial management. Thank you, sir. We have personal financial management. We have public, we have international, and we have not-for-profit. The one that concerns us is the not-for-profit. It involves financial management of non-for-profit organizations, including fundraising and grants management. So, as a church, we are not making profits. It is the Lord that is supplying all the needs of the churches, and He will continue to supply. Amen. In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. So, let's look at an example of financial management. For example, an organization wants to expand their operation. The first thing that the manager will do is to assess the company's financial position. To embark on anything in our churches, we must first of all assess the financial position. How much do we have? Or how much do we need? Even if you don't have it at hand, how much are we talking about in this project that we want to do? After that, you now determine how much funding you need to support that need that you have recognized. You look at your financial position, you look at what you want, you look at how much money you need to do it. Then you develop a budget with cost associations, you know. You know exactly the cost of what you want to do. Is it a new equipment that you want to buy for the church? Is it to pay staff salaries? The next thing is the financial manager will now evaluate the risks and reward of different financial options. How do you get this money? And what are the risks involved? Do you go about borrowing, hoping that you get money later? So, what are the various options open to you to get this money? Then you determine which option is best for you. After that, you must oversee the implementation of that project. It must be properly monitored. You must monitor the expenses. You must ensure that the expenses stay within the budget. People are not listening again. You must stay within the budget, and you must regularly assess the financial performance to be able to know when you need adjustment. Until the project is successful, you continue to monitor. That is the work of a financial manager. From determining what you need, what is needed to be done, how much money do you have at hand, how do you raise money to fund it, to determining the cost of the project, to knowing the risks involved in the various forms of money that you can get, and which one should you take, and then oversee the implementation and regularly assess the company's financial performance, so that you'll be able to know whether adjustment needs to be made to ensure whether the project is successful. This is an example of how financial management can be practiced. That takes us to the importance of financial management. When you manage the finances of your organization properly, then you'll be able to achieve your business financial goals. At any point in time, the church will not be in dire need of important things if you manage your expenses and your finances very well. It will help in decision making. It will help you in decision making because you would have planned, you would have started with planning so that you will not regret any expenses at all. You'll be able to make right decisions at the right time. You'll be able to make good choices because you would have investigated all possible options. You would have ensured that what you are going is in line with the objectives of your church, and you will know that the choice you are making is feasible, you know. So you'll be able to maintain financial stability. Financial stability, because you will do what is important first. You will not go and be doing because you would have planned properly. So you'll be stable. You will not be embarrassed if you make proper, if you are a good financial manager. then you'll be able to maximize shareholders' value. Who are the shareholders in the church? The congregation. The congregation. They are the people that are looking up to you. They want value. So there should be proper management of people and of finances. Then when you manage your finances properly, it will improve transparency and accountability. You'll be able to how do I put it? You'll be able to convince people that what you are spending money on is what is essential. You know? You'll be transparent, you'll be accountable. Then you will ensure compliance. People will do what you want them to do because they have seen that they can trust you. And that is very important in leadership. You must be trusted. The people must be able to trust you with finances. You know? So anything you are doing, they will not complain. They will trust your judgment because you're a good financial manager. Okay, we talked about the 4 elements of financial management. Planning is essential. Controlling. You ensure that each aspect of the organization is following the plan. You make plans and ensure that the plan is being adhered to. Then you direct. You be the one to decide on what resources are necessary to effectively carry out the plan. That is organizing and directing. Then you make a decision appropriately. You'll be able to make choices after investigating all possible options. Because you have been able to establish the alternatives, all the plans, you have looked at all the plans, you'll be able to make good decisions. You choose the alternative that is feasible and that will be able to assist you in achieving the organizational goals and objectives. And your decision making must coincide with the rest of your planning, controlling, and organizing. Because each of these elements will need to be confirmed before you move forward with your plan. So all those 4 elements, they go hand in hand. You cannot make a decision if you don't plan properly. And if you don't plan properly, you will not be able to control, you will not be able to direct. So these 4 elements are very important. So, what are the objectives of financial management? To procure, allocate, control financial resources of an organization. You look for funds. You ensure that the shareholders have adequate returns. You utilize the funds properly. Then invest the funds properly. Then the functions, the role of financial management. You are the one that will choose the source of funds. The source of funds. Do you always look to the diocesan for funds? Or are you good generators of funds? You, as a good financial manager, you are the one that will source for funds. Oh no, I didn't run you low. Ọlọ́run á ràn àwa náà lọ́wọ́ to be forthcoming in our tithes and offerings. If you continue to pray for us, the Lord will answer. So you source for funds, you invest the funds. You invest the funds. Do you have funds to invest? God will help us. Then you dispose of the surplus. Then you manage cash. You manage cash. Because you need cash. You need to be liquid to be able to pay salaries, electricity and water bills. We don't want embarrassment. The church needs to be liquid. Needs to be able to pay creditors, to be able to meet current liabilities. You need to maintain enough stock, and there are some raw materials that you may need cash to purchase. Then another function is financial control. You must be able to not only to plan, not only to procure, not only to utilize the funds, but you must also have the control over finances. And you can do this through many techniques that the financial analyst can assist in doing. And forecasting, cost and profit control, ratio analysis, and so on. So, as a financial manager, you must be able to adequately fund. There must be adequate fund in your churches. There must be adequate funds. You must ensure that the fund is adequate. You know, you must be able to get the laity to bring funds. Some people are good at raising funds, and as a, you know, you must be able to source for funds. Then we talked about financial planning, so that you'll be able to balance between the way money is flowing out and the way money is coming in, so that you'll be able to maintain stability. You know, it's very important. It's important that you ensure that the suppliers of funds are easily investing in companies which exercise financial planning. You know, because financial planning will help you to make growth and expansion programs easy. You know, when there's adequate inflow of money, then everything will be easy and the goals and objectives will be achieved. Financial planning reduces uncertainties with regard to changing market trends. When you plan properly, there's no time you should be able to lack funds. There should be no embarrassment at any point in time if you're a good financial manager. Financial planning will help in reducing the uncertainties which can be an hindrance to growth of the churches. Because you need stability, and even if you're not for profit, you need stability, and you cannot afford uncertainties. You cannot afford embarrassments. It is well. So, in conclusion, the overall goal of human resource management is managing employees, managing people, recognizing their needs, maintain an optimistic work culture, and achieve organizational objectives. Human resource planning is the center of employee productivity, performance, engagement, innovations, and stability of the organization. The organization will be stable if you manage the people and your finances properly. So, financial management goal is to manage and dispense all budgeting and revenue for a business to maximize profits. You will be maximizing profits when you are achieving your goals and objectives, even if you're not making money. But what the organization is meant for, what our church is meant for people to come and hear the word of the Lord. It is, the others is left for the Holy Spirit to perfect his work on them. So let them come and hear. That's the goal of the churches. So when they come, the Holy Spirit will perfect everything. So once they come, your work is, you are successful. So you have to ensure proper discipline management, discipline and management of financial resources to achieve organizational objectives. And at this junction, I want to specially thank the Lord Bishop, Right Reverend Olubunmi Akinlade, for this great opportunity. I thank you all. I appreciate you for your attention. Thank you.
I think she deserves a better applause than that. So you've heard about human resource management, which is a senior brother to financial management. And the both of them, they like to work hand in hand together. So if you don't remember anything else, let me teach you what you should remember. You must be a good person to source for funds. You must know how to source for fund so that you pay all diocesan fees. Now, there will be room for questions. If you have questions, please raise up number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You were okay, 11. Well, we'll see how much you can take because we have limited time. Number 1.
Thanks so much, Ma, for the beautiful lecture. There is one particular thing that we cannot shy away from, and that is the fact that the church needs money to meet up with its responsibility both at the local level, the community level, and the diocesan level. Now, what can you suggest, or what are your suggestions for the priests to be more enterprising, apart from the local or the conventional ways of raising funds like tithes and so? What are the other things you feel the priests can do?
Looking at the development of technology at this age, we discovered that we have some machines in form of robots doing certain assignments in big companies and now going to private enterprises. How do we now manage them to bring, not to affect the human area? Because we discover as soon as this machine is now being introduced in many places, man will be lazy, man will not have access to work, and at the end of the day, it's going to affect human being. As a manager, how do we cope with this machine? Thank Thank you, ma.
Number 3.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma. My own has to do with budgeting. Considering the circumstances and uncertainties, we see that the church finds it difficult to implement the budget with permission and appeal from my Lord Bishop. One of the problems that I face has to do with budgeting. Many a times, I've been disappointed with budgeting. I didn't know whether because of the shadow knowledge that I had while growing from the college or wherever. But we discovered that one of the problems that we have is budgeting. Sorry, most of the times, please, we don't steal the money of the people, but simply because they gave you money to do something. And Baba is also pastorizing us. You have to pay assessment. So that money that you have been giving maybe to do the generator or to do things, definitely you have to pay the assessment so that you'll be able to get your salary. And then you will now see that the church will now be saying, many a times.
Don't blame Baba.
That's why I take permission that I have to. So, mommy, please, we need more enlightenment on budgeting, because if you budget with 1 million, you are expecting 1 million from this. Then at the end of the day, you discover that you are disappointed. Thank you, sir.
Number 4.
Thank you, Prof, for an insightful lecture. My question is similar to the question number 4 speaker asked, but I want to make it practical. My church is located in Ife. The congregation is about 15 to 20, and there are many retirees and the likes. We don't have big people to give us money. Our assessment has not been paid, and a whole lot of needs of the church. What is your advice on how the business we can go into, whether small, anything that can give us money, considering this environment? Thank you, sir.
The business you do is evangelism. Yes. That's your job. Number 5. I'm number 6.
Ma, please, I just want you to rehearse today's statement. Somebody said, we spend according to the needs and not according to the budget. What do you have to say about this statement? Then the first one, you said that the church is non-profit organization, profit-making organization. But what type of, apart from business kingdom, to be able to live about financial challenges that we are facing right now as a church, what type of business that you can embark on to be able to generate a little fund within a locality? Thank you very much.
7, yeah.
6.
6, okay.
In case of a vicar who had a vision towards a project in the church, and you come across a resistance, why some believe in your vision and you have 1 or 2, very few, who doesn't believe, who saw the visions as impossible, who has a different idea, different opinion, and there is a clash in that situation. As it could happen in a company, so it could also happen in a church. And in that situation, what do you do? Thank you.
Human resource.
Thank you, Ma.
Number 8, Abi.
Number 7.
You are 7, okay.
Ma, you concluded with that as church or pastors, we may not have the money for our goals. Achieving our goals may not be on finances alone. That when we come in and we do our business, our goal is to have people. That when we have people, we have achieved. But in the temporary time, can that help the pastor? Because having people not having the money, it may not. Can that help the pastor? Or how can the pastor be helped in that regard?
Thank you, my Lord, for this opportunity, and kudos to the professor for a lecture well delivered. Now, research has proven that stress affects productivity. And so my question is this. We are aware that organizational structures have an individual to a particular set of people. For example, there are companies that the ratio is 1 to 10, and I'm so sure in the classroom there is a proper ratio of 1 to 25. So coming to the church, now it's so difficult for a curate to manage the people without first taking every permission from his boss. So I want to ask, is there a possibility that the church as well could have something like a structure which is written so that a vicar would not want to be a know-all? So in order to reduce the stress of hypertension and other things.
Wait for your time. Number 9.
Thank you, my Lord. My Professor Ma, during the course of your lecture, you struck a point. In the recent day, in the olden days, the church looked on towards the congregation. But nowadays, the congregation look onto the priest. How can we go about this? Last year, I was planning a program in the church where I'm serving. I had invitation for the members to distribute to their friends in order to raise funds for the church. I want to tell you, ma, they resisted that. What can we do? Then at this point in time, ma, because we are looking at the church, non-profit organization, where are we heading to? When the church and the congregation, you said when you are lecturing, you said the gods will help the members to pay their tithe and offerings. After so many teachings, not that we don't know the right, we don't know the truth, but the truth has never set us free. What can we do, ma?
Are you sure it has not set us free? Number 10 now, Avi.
Yes, ma. Mine is in two areas. We know that people under us as manager must be motivated. But vis-a-vis the contemporary challenge and as positioned by your paper, that leads to cash flow, cash outflow. And then you want to really motivate those under you. They say there must be minimum wage, 40,000. Can that actually apply to the church? Because we talk in terms of government regulation, this regulation. Can that strictly apply to the church? Then, secondly, in the area of financial management, in the contemporary time, case study Nigeria, you wake up, you have done budgeting, you have made calculation, you have looked at salary, staff salary, and all those things. And then you wake up, and then they say diesel is 1,000 naira. And you run, nothing works infrastructurally. What can you advise that an organization like the church will do to make the best out of the fluidity of situation in Nigeria? Thank you, ma.
Number 11, is there a number 11? Okay, yes, it's number 11.
Thank you, my Lord, and the guest lecturer. By the time you are given the definition of human resource management, you emphasize the word people. I want to strike my mind. People, especially in the church, we have the strong people and we have the weak people. It might be spiritually, it might be financially. In the context of this lecture, I believe it's not just for spiritual, but also for financial. Then I have this question. Because you also emphasize that for human resource management to be effective, you need the people, both the weak and the strong. Then I have this question. Is there room for the weak ones to be outcasted for effective, when we talk of effective and efficient management? If there is, or there is no, is there any significant difference the contribution of the weak ones has on the output or success of the human resource management exercise in an organization? Thank you very much.
On your low sorrow. Over to you, man.
Thank you for your questions. The first question is about what can the priests do in the area of fundraising? The problem of our people is that even those who have money, all these fund questions can be linked together. Some people are financially strong and they are spiritually strong. They have this money that they can, that they can use, that they can release. And this type of people are very few in our churches. Even in the churches where we have very few members, there could be very few, one or two financially strong members that I think if the priest can recognize such people, and be close to them, not as if you are going to beg or something, but make them friends. Let them know what is going on. Let them know what is going on. I think they can help once in a while. But even the weak ones, look at the woman with the widow's mite. She's financially weak, but spiritually strong. She knows what it means to give your best to God. And she gave her best. So maybe what we should do is to feed them spiritually. You continue, don't be tired. You continue to feed them with the word of God and appeal to their conscience so that with time, maybe they can be forthcoming. Maybe they should be forthcoming with prayers, with prayers, with encouragement. You will not be far from them. Although when somebody is financially strong but spiritually weak, if you pester that kind of person too much, such person may begin to complain. I've had such complaints because some people, they don't know what it means to give to God. Some people say in Anglican churches, good work means more work, that they drive willing horses to death. Because you are the one giving, and we need money. It is we will come to. They will not be complaining, why is it me that you should be coming to? So what I'm thinking is, for such people, you keep praying for them, so that they will not, the weak will not discourage them. And one important thing is, you carry people along. You carry people along. There is a question on budgeting, especially implementing budget. There are times you give money to vicar for a particular thing that your mind says, please use this money to do this. But they will use it for another thing. You should be able to understand. Because, and if you carry such people along, you know he has given money for a particular reason and you are using it for another, carry such person along. Let them know that what you are saying we should use this money for is not the next thing. Please, let me use it this way. You carry such people along. That is where communication comes in. You don't assume that we can use it the way you want. Don't assume. Carry such people along. Let them know the reason. Some people are talking. I'm talking, you are talking. Hello? So let's carry them along. The weak ones, let's continue to pray for them. The only thing I think the priest can do as far as fundraising is, when the church sees that you are managing their funds well, they will be willing. When you need money, they will be willing to give. When they are sure, then they trust you, they know that you are not going to waste it. They know you know what you are doing, and you carry them along. Communication is very important. You'll be able to earn their trust, and they continue to support whatever you want to do. As long as you keep praying that people should surround you with spiritually knowledgeable people who knows that the church needs things and they are willing to go all out. Because some people have money. Some people have this money, but they are not, I don't know, maybe they lack knowledge. I don't know. And that's one thing that is very good in the full gospel. Full gospel people, they have been trained to give their all, and to redeemed church people. Giving is not their problem. And what our own people don't realize is that when you give, then the Lord blesses you more. Maybe we continue to evangelize, like the Lord Bishops suggested. We continue to evangelize and pray for people, for God to open their eyes and their hearts, to be able to do what people are supposed to do. So, what type of investment can the church do? I don't know. If we begin to look into investments now, people will be complaining. Whereas the church needs money. So it's the Lord that can lead in that direction. We need money to be able to even start the water investments. Somebody asked the question about tech replacing humans. No matter the sophistication of the tech, people will operate the machines. It is only the number of people that will reduce. And we are beginning to realize that. And that is why we are telling our students not to stop looking for employment, but to begin to look at what they too can do to employ people. Tech will continue to replace humans because prices of, look at the minimum wage thing. It's driving the cost of labor up. Organizations are making quantity adjustments. They are reducing the number of people they are employing. They are replacing people with machines because human beings are becoming too expensive. The CEOs, look at the amount of money they take. There's factor price distortion. The human beings that we have in abundance, it's supposed to be cheaper than machines. But machine is now replacing humans because human beings, when you trust them, they will run the place down. So we are the architect of our own misfortune. They will run the place down. They will, you know, people are desperate. You know, they want to make it all of a sudden. And they go to churches, they hear preachings, yet we are not. Sir? Even pastors. People who come from abroad, they want to invest so that people can get employment, but no, they will frustrate that person and the person will run back with his money. It is a pity. Maybe if you continue to pray for them, if you continue, what is the bell saying? Financial challenge, the business that church can do. We're spending according to our needs, not according to our budget. I said, carry people along. What you have budgeted for, carry people along and they will understand. Resistance to visions. Everybody cannot agree with your vision, but ensure that the majority are with you. Ensure that you have the backing of the majority. The very few people that remains, you won't neglect them. You try to you begin to convince them. You convince them. The others that are with you will assist you to convince them. It's normal for people to resist change. It is normal for people to resist your vision. Everybody cannot be with you, but ensure that you have a greater percentage with you. Otherwise, there will be problem. You said the goal of the church is to make people come and hear the gospel. When they are touched, then they will be good. And somebody said, when we have people and there's no money, don't you know that people are money? People are money. When you have people, money will begin to come. 50 naira, 100 naira. You are the one that can manage your own stress. Give yourself rest of mind. Follow instructions. Do what you are supposed to do prayerfully, and stress will be minimized. We need a little bit of stress to be able to keep going. If you're not stressed, you will not be able to go you won't do anything. You will not be pushful. But a little bit amount of stress, is allowed, and don't let it be too much. So, and that is why nowadays vicars ensure that their wives work. Ensure that your wife has businesses they do, because the little one Congo of Gary that she will give to anybody that runs crying comes to your house, she's the one that will be bailing you out. So he said, congregation looking unto the vicar, it is the work of the vicar's wives. I want to Mama D some of those places, even without you knowing. That is why you should ensure that they have a viable business concern. Minimum wage application to the church. If the church is not able to pay minimum wage, it's because you are not generating enough funds. So, I don't know. I don't know what we can do. That's the last question. Funds generation. What can the church do? Food for thought. Fund generation. What can the church do? Prayerfully, the Lord will help the church. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very, very much. I'm going to try and answer that last question.